The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is set to arraign the dismissed judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Muhammad Yunusa, before a Lagos High Court tomorrow on a 5-count charge bordering on corrupt enrichment and attempts to pervert the course of justice. Channels Television's judiciary correspondent Shola Shoyele exclusively gathered that Justice Yunusa is to be arraigned alongside Esther Abo, a member of staff of the law firm of Mr. Ricky Tarfa. The EFCC says Esther Abo is yet to report to the Commission for planned arraignment tomorrow. The charges against the duo were prepared by an EFCC prosecutor, Mr. Ekele Iheanacho, who is expected to lead the arraignment before Justice Mojisola Dada. Justice Yunusa was accused by the EFCC of allegedly receiving bribes from a senior advocate of Nigeria in 2015. He was later queried by the NJC and recommended for summary retirement in 2016. The World Bank says it will no longer finance upstream oil and gas projects after 2019, apart from certain gas projects in the poorest countries in exceptional circumstances. The World Bank President Jim Yong Kim also announced that a West Africa Coastal Area Management Program will be launched in 2018. These are some of the pledges announced today as President Buhari joined other world leaders at the One Planet Summit in Paris. Our correspondent Ayola Kasim reports.
2 years have passed since then French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius struck his gavel and declared,
"The Paris Agreement for the climate is accepted."
Now, 50 world leaders, including Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari, and non-state actors are back in Paris for the One Planet Summit. The purpose of this gathering is to celebrate climate gains made since 2015 and to boost political and economic summit for meeting the goals and targets of the Paris Agreement. French President Emmanuel Macron delivered a bleak assessment on the global fight against climate change to those present, telling them we are losing the battle.
Those before us stood a chance and could say we didn't know, and it was true. But we've known for 20 years now. When I say we are losing the battle today, I want you to be aware that there are world leaders behind me. In 50, 60 or 100 years, there are 5, 10 or 15 of these countries who will no longer be here. It's that simple. And that's what we're trying to tackle.
The One Summit, co-hosted by the French President, the President of World Bank and the United Nations Secretary General, has 3 aims. The first is to tackle tangible and collective action and then to innovate. And the third is to support one another, especially those most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. The leaders here are championing carbon neutrality process.
I have heard it said that the Stone Age did not end because we ran out of stones. We don't have to wait to run out of coal and oil to end the age of fossil fuels.
The One Planet Summit is an alliance of hundreds of global leaders from all sectors, determined to demonstrate the power of collective action. But to achieve this, money is key.
To ensure that we are aligned with our support to their countries to meet their Paris goals, today we're announcing that the World Bank Group will no longer finance upstream oil and gas after 2019.
The One Planet Summit may in part be judged by how far it can plug a $2 billion funding hole in the Green Climate Fund, which helps developing nations deal with climate change as a result of the United States pullout, which takes effect in 2020. Ayola Kasim reporting for Channels Television News.
Back here in Nigeria, the federal government has completed the final handing over of the presidential Lord Marina to the Lagos State government, bringing an end to a request pursued by the Lagos State government for about 20 years. Governor Akinwumi Ambode finalized the process at a brief ceremony in Abuja. This development is expected to bring positive change to Lagos State.
The Lagos State Governor, Akinwumi Ambode, and the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, meet for the second time since the handover of power between them in 2015. This meeting is to finalize the transfer of the presidential lodge in Marina to the Lagos State Government. Documents which formally vest the presidential lodge to the Lagos State Government are signed and exchanged by the 2 principal officers and their witnesses. The development, according to the minister, is in response to the promise to revive abandoned federal assets.
This is a long journey that has come to an end. It is a journey that has taken almost 2 decades, when the Lagos State government continued to ask that this property be vested in it for reasons that remain difficult to understand. It did not happen. This is consistent with Mr. President's promise to respond to those many things that have been left undone.
Governor Ambode sees the transfer as a sign of greater things to come between the federal government and Lagos State, giving the assurance that the asset will be put to good use.
We believe strongly that by this singular gesture is part of what we improve the economy of Lagos, because our intention is to turn that particular asset into a national monument where we can christen it a national heritage center for leadership, and we'll be able to use it also as a tourist center to bring Nigerians and tourists and foreigners to come into Nigeria, and also use that as a means of improving on the economy of Lagos State and in Nigeria in particular.
Since August, the Lagos State government has taken possession of the Presidential Lodge and Marina. If everything goes according to plan, the edifice will become a national monument which not only Lagosians but Nigerians will be proud of.
Let's cross over to our Abuja studios now. Here's Ibrahim Adra. Ibrahim.
Good to see you, Ijoba. Now, here in Abuja, it appears there is no end in sight for the scarcity of fuel, which has hit the Federal Capital Territory for nearly 1 week now. Motorists are bearing the brunt and grappling with the consequences. Channels Television was granted exclusive access to the fuel depot supplying fuel to the Federal Capital Territory and its satellite towns. Our correspondent, Ajuri Ngilali, reports.
Abuja motorists want to know, where is the fuel? A day after fuel stations remained closed across the city, we head to Suleja for answers.
I come to you from the heart of Niger State at this fuel depot, which supplies fuel to Abuja and its environs. For nearly 1 week, this tanker park has been filled with tankers as fuel shortages have hit parts of the country. But as you can see, the space behind me is now largely empty as tankers are moving fuel into Abuja, raising hopes that the suffering of motorists will soon come to an end.
This tanker driver says supplies from Lagos had not been forthcoming, adding that in the last 36 hours things have changed.
Starting from yesterday and today, we're having a lot of fuel here.
Many kilometers away in the heat of Abuja, we met a different reality.
As far as the eye can see, it is metal on metal. As the Abuja sun sets, the frustration of these motorists is only rising. Fuel may be on the way, but clearly it has not reached every location.
With long queues still marking the cityscape, motorists air their grievances as fuel makes its way to the capital.
I've been in a queue for the past 3 hours now, and I couldn't get fuel. And again, this is a very big disappointment in the government, because the government didn't give us what we need. We are the one that voted in the power. And again, every day they are criticizing PDP. PDP, they are not the one that the government. We know APC are the one in government. And what we expect from them, to give us a very credible exercise of government.
Linked together in a chain of dissatisfaction, these motorists seek less assurance and more result to fuel their faith in providers of public services. Ajuri Ngilali, Channels Television News.
Well, many thanks, Ajuri. From the reality of fuel scarcity in the FCT to some political matters now. Barely 3 days after the National Elective Convention of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the party is embarking on a mission to reconcile aggrieved members. The chairman of the Reconciliation Committee, who is also the governor of Bayelsa State, is confident that all those who were dissatisfied with the convention will be reconciled with the party.
We have discussed the state of affairs, developing issues, and it is our pleasure to let you gentlemen and ladies of the press know that concerning developments since after the convention, which are not strange to any of you, generally we are pleased with the outcome of the exercise. But we have established contact already with those who are, for one reason or the other, dissatisfied and who have concerns and issues and grievances. We are pleased to announce that our contacts with all the major candidates, with all the chairmanship candidates for that matter, was very positive. Our overtures were well received. Beginning tomorrow here in Abuja, this committee will undertake a visit, in fact several visits, to those of our party leaders who, for one reason or the other, may have concerns and issues. It is not our business in this committee to apportion blame. It's our business, our focus is to promote reconciliation, because all party leaders are important. All party members are important. Their concerns are also very important. Where there are grievances, it is the view of this committee that those grievances be looked into and addressed where possible.
Meanwhile, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC has made a U-turn and congratulated the People's Democratic Party on the conduct of its national convention after APC spokesman described the exercise as abnormal. The national chairman of APC, Chief John Oyegun, has sent a congratulatory message to the newly elected national chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondus. Part of Chief Oyegun's message reads, quote, "It is my hope that the newly elected PDP national chairman will use his experience garnered over the years to ensure that the PDP assumes its role as a responsible opposition party in the country." End of quote. Chief Oyegun says his party will welcome all forms of opposition from the new leadership of the PDP based on the party's belief that democracy cannot thrive without a vibrant, responsible opposition that puts the nation first. He adds that he is willing to engage the new chairman of the PDP to elevate the language and temper of politics in Nigeria for the development of the country's democracy.